So we're in Islamorada, Upper Keys area. It's kind of a unique area in the Keys. You got the mainland of Florida that comes down. The Keys comes and sweeps down and around to the west. Islamorada is one of the first places you get to in the Keys. And it just has a lot of variety. From inshore to offshore, snook, redfish, tarpon, bonefish, permit inshore, and a quick run offshore. You're catching tunas, dolphins, snappers, sailfish, wahoos, good variety of everything. So we're out here on one of the humps. Matter of fact, they just started busting behind us, and we're throwing these pilchards. Big scoops go out, they hit the water, they drift back in the current. The tuna see them and they come up and fire on the surface. So we're waiting to see them bust really good, and then we'll throw plugs out there and come tight and have a good time.
Instant double.
Holy hell.
One there, he's got one here.
Fishing light tackle is so much fun.
Oh, look at him. That's awesome.
So we got a nice blackfin tuna, ate the plug with the scent on there. Actually, you can still see some of that scent on there. And he blew up on it right away. It's pretty cool.
My first blackfin tuna, man, did he just devour this plug with the fire gel.
So we're using a Shimano, a Cold Sniper plug. We're putting a little bit of this sardine gel on there and throwing that for these tunas. Should work pretty good, kind of match the hatch kind of thing. Look how pretty that color is. You know, at the time of year that we have, it's kind of transition time between summer and fall. It's not, water temperatures just starting to cool off a little bit, but it's still pretty warm. So a lot of the fish are staying a little deeper, and some are starting to move in a little shallower. So bounce around and just do a whole variety of species and do everything, from live chumming the tunas and catching them on artificials to catching snappers on artificials. Just all around, mixed bag and have fun.
You got it. Woo!
It kind of looks weird with you holding the rod.
I'm not used to this. You're used to holding that camera.
I'll commentate for you, don't worry.
All right. There he is.
Okay. Oh, he's a nice one too.
Come on.
There you go.
Another beauty. We'll take it.
Pretty fish.
Holy hell.
This is a triple tail. I've never even seen one till 5 seconds ago.
Nice triple tail.
It's a nice one.
Good. I don't think there's such thing as a bad triple tail. Those are the best tasting fish ever. Yes, sir.
There you go. He's a little small, but that's still a species. Look at that guy. Look how cool they are.
My first one.
Crush the plug. Cool little fight. It's a little small. They're excellent eating, but this guy's gonna go back and swim for another day. All right, so we just moved in from offshore. We were catching tunas earlier, had a good time doing that. We want to mix it up and try something different. So we're trying yellowtailing. Normally yellowtailing, it's a bait thing. They're a little bit tougher to get. They have really good eyesight. But we're going for the challenge, and we're gonna use bucktails and put the scent on it and see what we can do. Says something actually, if you catch a yellowtail on a bucktail jig with no bait, it's one of the smartest snappers out there. That's a pretty nice snapper.
Man, I've never caught a can fish.
I think it's a yellowtail. See the tail? Tail looks yellow.
The rainbow runner. Cool. What? Rainbow runner.
Can you eat that?
Yeah. Real good. Nice.
New species, son. New species for me. Rainbow runner, that's what they're called?
Runner, yep.
They fight hard and hit hard.
We decided to do something different, so we came in shallow inside the reef, which is like patch reef fishing. started chumming up some snappers, and we threw this little scented plug out there, and we were catching some nice yellowtails and some mangroves in the kind of mixed bag. So workout, little fish. But oh, you got a genuine red snapper. So we're out. We tried something different. We're dropping deep, like 250 feet. We use these plastic baits instead of squid. We scented them, we dropped them down on a chicken rig, and bam, catching vermilions. Caught a few red snappers. It's cool. It's kind of fun. You don't have to cut up squid, and it works great. Big yellowtail.
It is? You're the man, big boy.
Yellowjack, one of the two. Yellowjack.
Oh, that's why.
Another species off the list. Squid fire gel.
Nice.
Looks like a jack.
Big bonita, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big old bonita. Look at that thing.
Woo! I've never seen a bonita that big.
How did a full-grown bonita there?
I've never seen a bonita. First bonita, he crushed it. I'll tell you one thing, these saltwater fish beat the hell out of my fish back home. Oh!
Today's episode of Pautzke Outdoors was the first of its kind. By that I mean, we actually called a guy that knew nothing about Pautzke. He never even heard of us, and he said, hold on a second. You guys want to book a trip, but you don't want to use live bait, you only want to use your stuff. And sure enough, that's exactly what we did. You know, fire gel is brand new. A lot of people don't know about fire gel in Florida. Everywhere else in the country, it's pretty standard. However, we wanted to come out here today and say, hey, I know that live bait catches fish, but what about all those private boaters that have no chance of getting live bait on their own? You know, they have to use jigs, they have to use lures, those kind of things. We want to show those guys that by using quality scent and scent that doesn't come off your hook or your lure right away, you have a better chance of catching fish. Sure enough, when we called this fishing guide down here in Islamorada, Florida, he said to us, yeah, I'm not a big scent guy. Scent comes off the hook right away. You know, most of it just washes right into the water. And I said, hey, we're about to change that. So we flew all the way from the Pacific Northwest all the way down to Miami. And we drove south down to Islamorada to one of the fishing meccas of the world. And we hired a guy, we paid him full fare, and we said, let us try to do everything we want, all with plastics. And he kind of looked at us and said, it's going to be more difficult. You know, if you have live bait, we can catch as many fish as you want. We tried it anyway. Sure enough, we basically motored, and this guy has one of the nicest boats you've ever seen. It's a beautiful fishing boat when it comes to a high-speed boat, very mobile. We went 18 miles off Islamorada, and the first thing we did is we went after small blackfin tuna. Sure, there's large blackfin out here as well, but not this time of year. Most of them are small. It's just the water's warm. It's that time of year. So we went and found humps, and we were not the only people out there. To be honest, there were like 25 boats out there, and not a lot of people were catching fish. Not a lot of people had live bait. We didn't have live bait either. But when we put the sardine fire gel on those plugs, we had our limit in less than an hour. We had a limit for the boat, and he said, what do you guys want to do next? We ran in about 15 miles. He ended up seeing a triple tail. It wasn't large enough, so we couldn't keep it, but we caught that using fire gel on a jig as well. Now, as we got in closer, there's a lot more pressure in the area. As he said, just so you guys know, yellowtail are some of the best eating fish on the planet. However, they're normally caught by live bait. They're very smart. You may not catch that many just on jigs. Well, sure enough, we put squid fire gel on bucktails, and we caught as many yellowtail as we wanted to bring in there for dinner. We ended up doing very well, actually way better than the guide thought. Then we moved spots, and we fished for reef snapper by using jigs and lures again. This time with shrimp fire gel. Who picked the fire gel? He did. Why? Because he knows what kind of scents work in his area. We brought him a whole box of scents and told him, just pick what you want, and we're going to test everything. Now, this was the first time we ever paid a guide that we didn't even know who we were. Who he was, sorry. But he was willing to give this experiment a try. And sure enough, he brought us in his beautiful boat. He brought us to some of the prettiest places in all of the Keys. And we did what we asked the most of. Hey, can you bring calm water conditions? Sure enough, he brought those as well. And as we got closer to the end of the day, he wanted to try something on his own to see if he could ever become a believer. Because before we got on his boat, he wasn't. He said, guys, scent comes right off a lure. So what we're going to do is we're going to try something. We're going to use a chicken rig, which is what everybody else does, all along the state of Florida and everywhere. We're going to use a chicken rig. Normally people cut up squid and they got messy bait, their hands stink. We're going to try a couple plastics. We put plastics on there. We added a little bit of fire gel on there. We dropped them down 250 feet, and he said, most likely you're not going to catch anything. These fish don't eat plastics. Well, sure enough, that fire gel, this was squid fire gel we used in this location, we had fish on every drop. We had snapper, we had yellowtail, and we were catching fish after fish. It turned out to be a phenomenal experiment and showed that with fire gel, you can catch more fish, even if you don't have live bait. We even got a really nice big bonita that we didn't expect to catch. Now, you'll see we brought the drone out here, had a great time. We also put the GoPros underwater and saw an endless amount of fish swimming around and eating those plain jigs with fire gel on them. Sure enough, it showed us that you can come out here, even without live bait, fish the Florida Keys, and fill a boat with some of the best tasting fish you'll ever find, just like we did. Pautzke products are available at sporting goods stores near you. If you can't find the specific color, size that you want, make sure to go to Pautzke.com. And as a thank you for watching Pautzke Outdoors, we're going to show you a coupon code to be used for 10% off your next order. Did you have a different rig?
I put on that big worm.
Oh yeah.
Was
it squid? Uh-oh. That's not good, is it?
No, she just got eaten.
Damn!